Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sierra, and today I am going to be doing a video on UV resin, just the basics of UV resin. And while we do the basics, I want to recreate these earrings. So this is what we're going to be making, but I want to walk you through what UV resin is and how it works as far as how I understand it. So first we're going to discuss the different types of UV resin that I'm aware of. I'm sure there are more out there, but these are the ones that I'm aware of. I'm going to bring it in just a little bit. The first kind is the clear soft type. This is a soft UV resin. Once it's cured, it's bendy. I do use this in certain applications, but it's not something I use all the time. But there is that one. I'm just going to move it to the side when we're done talking about it. And then you have colored UV resin like this. It comes in smaller bottles. It's already pre-colored. You don't have to do anything with it. And it does cures like this. I just did a little heart mold. I used this in the little heart mold here, one of the small ones. Just trying to test out the colors. So you got that one. And then you can also get colored resin, UV resin, and this is from Lightwish, and it's a diamond glitter UV resin, and it's the same as the color UV resin, except this one has glitter in it. So it's really, really cool stuff to use. And then you have bigger bottles like this they've come out with. You can get it in black and white. And this you don't have to mix or anything like that. And this is the black. And you can also get this in the white. And the most common type of resin is the hard type. And this is the kind that I use right here. It's the Bond Crafter hard type UV resin. And I will have everything linked in the description box. For tools, when you use UV resin, I've had people email me asking about UV resin, and I've seen posts on different social media sites where people are unfamiliar with how UV resin cures. It will not cure just sitting out like on my desk. If I just fill this mold and I leave it sitting here like this in my room, it will stay exactly how I poured it no matter how long I leave it sitting in my room. You do need UV to cure it. And you can get UV in a couple of ways. You can pour your mold and you can set it out in the sunlight. I've never done it that way, so I don't know how long it would take to actually cure in the sunlight, but you can do it that way. The most common way in a craft room would be to use a UV light like this, or one that's designed for nails. This one happens to be a double-sided UV light. So when I plug it in and I turn it on, the light will be on the bottom and on the top, and it'll cure the top and the bottom at the same time. Another way to cure your UV resin is to use a UV torch. It's just a black light, UV light, and this will cure your resin. I use this to do what I call a flash cure. When I'm using UV resin, it's to prevent the UV resin it's to stop the UV resin from moving, keep it where I want it. There's a couple ways you can use UV resin. I'm just going to cover two ways right now, and that is in a mold. If you're going to use the UV resin, it has to be a translucent mold. The light has to be able to penetrate top all the way through. Okay? UV resin will not cure through a mold like this. It'll cure on the top, but when you peel it out, it'll be uncured on the bottom. I've seen people use these types of molds with the knowledge that it's uncured. So when you pull it out, you'll have to cure it on another way, but it will not cure completely in this mold. So you do want a translucent mold. Another way is using bezels like this. You can get them in all shapes and sizes, different colors. And this is You can use these for pendants. You can buy smaller ones for earrings. And this is a good way to use your UV resin. You're also going to want to think about your safety when you're using UV resin. I have a fan going, and I have 2 air purifiers going. I apologize in advance if you can hear the air purifiers going. I also wear these glasses when I'm using the UV resin. You want to protect your lungs and you want to protect your eyes. And I also wear nitrile gloves whenever I use UV resin. You also want to protect your skin. I do have some isopropyl alcohol. I use 99% isopropyl alcohol to clean up. Like if I get resin on my skin, I'll clean up with the 99% isopropyl alcohol and then use soap and water. For tools, I like to use these little tools here. They have a little silicone tip, and you have the little dotting tool, and they have the 2 different sizes. I have a whole bunch of different tools that I like to use in the resin, whether it's epoxy or UV resin. I'll try to have everything linked in the description box, and some tweezers. Now so that is it. So you want to keep in mind what you need to cure resin, the UV light or the sunlight, and you want to protect your eyes, your lungs, your skin from the UV resin and from the light. So what we're going to do is, I have some UV tape here, and I have a piece of plastic and some scissors. And we're going to set up our little spot here. Get it going. Now where I'm going to put my bezels down, I don't want to touch this tape. I don't want fingerprints on it. So I'm going to just and then I'm going to get a couple little pieces. Gotta remember, you guys are really zoomed in. Cut off some here. And cut that. Like so. Okay, I'm going to come in with my tape. It is sticky side up. This is how I like to do it. I'm going to take some of this tape and I'm going to tape it down. And I'm going to tape this side down. I'm going to pull it like so. Okay, you have it. I have it set up like that. You could also, if you wanted to, you can also take a piece of silicone and place your rings on the silicone and cure it like that. I'm going to use the tape. I feel I have more control. So I have some rings here. I've got 2 different sizes. I've stuck with circles because I figured circles would be easier for beginners. So I'm going to set this one down. And set this one down. And then I'm going to get a little tool. I'm going to press it down into the tape. And I'm going to get my little circle here, and I'm going to put it up as close to the top of the ring. Press it down into the tape. And again, okay, that is what we have. So we're going to get started. I'm going to get my flowers out. And when you work with flowers, you want to work with dried flowers. You don't want to work with fresh flowers. You want to make sure they're dry. And I'm going to get a piece of silicone, and I want to get this one right here, this little purple one. And I'm just going to cut the little petals off of this flower. Okay, so we have our flowers. I have some foil here. We'll get to that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to move these flowers out of the way. There we go. Get some of that glare off of there. Okay, now I'm going to take some of just the hard type UV resin, and I'm going to put a little bit of resin down in the bottom half of these circles, like so. I'm going to zoom in. Try to keep in mind that you are zoomed in. I'm going to take my dotting tool, and I'm going to drag the resin down around and fill up, not fill up, but coat the where the tape is. I don't want any exposed tape down in here. So I just want to work the resin, and the resin is self-leveling. So you want to make sure that you are working on a level surface. They have leveling tables. I'm using, my table is leveled, and I did check that it was level using a little leveler. Very important that the surface you're working on is level. And then I'm just going to pull this through. And what I'll probably do to save time in the video is do one earring on camera and the other off camera. And that will save us some time. So I have both pieces covered. If you see any of the resin pulling away from the edges, it means you don't have enough resin down. I also wipe my tool off. I have a baby wipe with isopropyl alcohol. Clean my tools off. The last thing I want to do is come in here with my bare hands and touch any of my tools and feel uncured resin on them. Because I don't just do resin in my craft room. So I'm going to hit that with my long neck lighter and pop any bubbles that might be in there. I can see that this is pulling away a little bit. So we'll see if I can coax it in there. Pop the bubbles. I'm just going to cure this for a minute. And why I chose a minute to cure, because I know it's going to go back in this light multiple times. And I'll be right back. Because we know that this is going to be coming in and out of the light, I don't have to cure it for the full amount of time. So now that that is cured, we're going to take some more resin. And we're going to put a little bit of resin in there. Not a lot. Just a little bit. We're going to spread it around. Bring it to the edge. And now I'm going to take some resin I'm going to drop some on this silicone mat, like so. I'm going to get some foil out. I'll stick that in there. Don't need a lot. I'll take my dotting tool and I'm going to mix that foil into the resin. Like so. Pick up a little flower and I'll stick it in. I'm going to go in for some foil, just little bits. Basically, you want to create a design that's pleasing to your eye. What I think is pretty is what I work on. I go by what looks good to me. I'm not trying to win an art prize or anything like that. If it looks pretty to me, that is what I go with. So we're gonna drop some more. I want a little bit more color in there, so I'm gonna drop another flower in there. A little bit more foil, and we're gonna just leave it like that. Now I'm gonna get my torch, and I'm just gonna cure that real quick with my torch. It's just gonna flash cure it, it's just so it doesn't move. Like that. I'm gonna work on this one. I'm gonna do that off camera, and I'll be back for the next step. Okay, this is what we have. I'm gonna stick this in my light for about 45 seconds. Okay, so now I'm going to get my UV resin. Now we're going to cover flowers and the foil. Now I'm going to drag the resin to the edge like I have been, and fill in all these spots. You want to remember too, when you're using UV resin, you want to give it time to cool down in between cures, because UV resin can get very hot. It also shrinks when it's curing, so you want to keep that in mind. Because these are real small pieces, I'm just letting it cure down for about, I don't know, 35-40 seconds before I lay new resin down over the top. But if you're using it for a deeper piece, I definitely would let it cool down a couple of minutes between putting more resin down and curing it. You want to make sure that I'm just going to flash cure it now so that the resin stops moving. You also want to use UV resin in layers. You don't want to dump a whole bunch in a mold and let it cure. Even if you're just curing clear, you want to do it in layers. So that's that one with that layer on there. I'm going to do this one off camera. And then I'm going to put this in the UV light for 1 minute. And I will be back for the next step. Okay, this is what we have. I've taken my UV resin and I'm going to make another thin layer on the top. Taking my dotting tool, I'm going to spread it out. And take your time with this. It's supposed to be enjoying this. You're supposed to be enjoying your time. This is my time to, when I come up to my craft room, to unwind, relax, turn on a podcast or turn a movie on, listen to some music, and just zone out, especially now that I got the grandkids, my granddaughters here. I really need some me time. It's real important to take care of your mental health. At least I think it is. So we're just going to take my time. I'm not one that's worried about covering the metal. I like to cover it. These are for me or my granddaughters. My oldest granddaughter might like these. So that's what I got. And now I'm going to pop any bubbles. And I'm going to take my UV torch and I'm going to flash cure it so the resin doesn't move, to stop it from moving if it decides to, just for a few seconds. I'm going to do the same thing to this one. And then I'm going to cure it for a full 2 minutes and I'll be back for the next step. Okay, it's been that 2 minutes. This is what we have. Now, still wearing my gloves. I'll pull you guys out a little bit. We're going to pull these off. I think. See, I have a little bit of tape stuck to the back of this one. Oh, I have a lot of tape stuck to the back of this one. So we're going to get that tape off. So I have a baby wipe. And I have a bottle of 91% isopropyl alcohol. Just going to spray that in there like that. I'm going to show you the tape. You see the tape on that? You see it in this corner here. And I have a little in that corner. And we're just going to wipe until that comes off. It should come off relatively easy. Let me spray some more alcohol. Gotta know where I put it on this baby wipe. I have a little piece down there. I have a lot of different rolls of that resin tape in my drawer. Some is better than others. I'll try to link to the good one. So I got the tape, I believe. Let me check. Okay, I got the tape off of these. This is the back side. I have a piece of plastic here, just a piece of plastic. And I have a little piece of poster putty. I think it's the Duck brand poster putty. And I'm going to cut it with my scissors. I'm going to break it apart. Make a little ball. Stick it down. Stick that one down. I've been using this poster putty. It looks like this. That's how I have it in my drawer. It's just a big old blob of it. I reuse it. And I'm going to stick that one there. And that one there, like so. I'm going to get my UV resin. I'm going to do a thin coat on the back. We're working on the back side now. You can see this one's not level. I'm going to get my dotting tool. I'm going to drag it to the sides, to the edge. Drag it around. And then I'm going to clean my tool. I always get in the habit of cleaning your tools. I'm going to pop any bubbles. And I'm going to flash cure it with my light, just to get the resin to stop from moving. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing to this side. Then I'm going to cure it for 1 minute and I'll be right back. Okay, this is what we have. And now I'm going to do one more thin coat on here, just a little bit, because I don't want it to flow over. And I'm going to drag it to the edge. And then I'm going to flash cure it. And I'll do the other one, and I'm going to cure them both for 2 minutes, and we will go to the next step. There's one more step that I like to do when it comes to curing my pieces to prevent any resin from being sticky. You know how sometimes you cure things and it's got that tacky feel to it? I don't like that. Bondcrafter UV resin usually doesn't, or it doesn't have that tacky feel after you cure with it. Some UV resins do. I don't like how that feels. I don't like how it feels in my hand. So there's another step that I like to do that completely takes that stickiness away. So that is like that. I'm going to pop the bubbles, and I'm going to flash cure this. I'm going to do the other one off camera, cure it for 2 minutes, and then I'll be right back. Okay, this is what we have now. We're going to take that off. Get that little piece off of there. I still have my gloves on. Okay, move this to the side. Now what I do is I take some water, just tap water, and I also take one of these little flexible little mirrors, and I'm going to set the water on top of the mirror, face up this way, and I'm going to put this light like this, and I'm going to cure it for 5 minutes. So let me drop these in. And somehow the water does something to inhibit, I guess, the oxygen from hitting it or something like that, and it helps cure it thoroughly without the stickiness. This is a little trick from Daniel Cooper. So I'm going to put the mirror under. I don't want to blind you, and I'm going to cure this for 5 minutes, and I'll be right back. It's going to be like that and like that, and I'll be right back. Okay, these are done. Let's get them out. Oh, those are cute. Really cute. Let me show you. Aren't those cute? Let me bring you guys in. Aren't those cute? I like those. I'm going to take you back out. Like eyes. Okay. That just dumped out, huh? All right, let me take these gloves off. I have 2 jump rings and 2 of those fish hooks. Those turned out really cute. And they're not sticky or tacky or anything. They feel really good. Yeah, really good. All right. Let's see. I'm going to open that. Put this on. And this one. And close it. There is one. So let me get these on a card. So here are the earrings. Aren't those cute? And here's the gold ones. Those turned out so cute. I really like them a lot. Let me know what you think. So if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, please leave in the comment section down below. If you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. And to my subscribers, I truly appreciate you. I could not do this without you. Y'all have a great day and God bless. Bye.